women, avoid these 7 habits with men. They'll lose respect for you. You're smart, confident, and have lived enough life to know what you want, but even the most empowered women can fall into subtle habits that cause men to lose respect without even realizing it. This video isn't about blame, it's about power. Your power, because no matter your age, you deserve love that honors your worth, not one that leaves you questioning it. Whether you're newly dating, rebuilding after divorce, or trying to rekindle the spark in a long-term relationship, there are 7 silent habits that can quietly erode a man's respect, and here's the thing, most women don't even know they're doing them. You've heard men respect strength, not sacrifice, but when love has meant giving, fixing, and carrying the emotional load for years, that line can start to blur. But here's the truth, men don't pull away randomly, they pull away when they stop seeing the self-respect, confidence, and boundaries that first drew them in. So if you're tired of feeling unseen, underappreciated, or like you're doing all the emotional heavy lifting, this video is for you. Let's break down the 7 habits that strong, beautiful, experienced women must let go of, and how reclaiming your power will attract the kind of respect, connection, and love you truly deserve. 1. Apologizing for your standards. Ever catch yourself saying, "I know this might sound picky, but," or "sorry if this is asking too much," when expressing your needs? That's not setting a boundary, that's asking for permission to have one, and whether you realize it or not, this one habit alone can make a man lose respect fast. Here's the truth, a woman who stands firm in what she wants isn't too much, she's clear, and clarity is powerful. When you dilute your voice or cushion your standards with apologies, you're sending a message that your needs are negotiable, and worse, that you're not sure you even deserve to have them met. Men don't respect wishy-washy expectations, they respect women who confidently know who they are and what they require to feel safe, valued, and respected. A 2015 study from Florida State University found that women who clearly communicated their boundaries early in dating were significantly more likely to attract commitment-minded men. Why? Because confidence creates certainty, and certainty is attractive. Stop sugarcoating your truth to keep someone comfortable. Saying, "This is what I need to feel respected," isn't aggressive, it's emotionally intelligent. It tells a man you're not afraid to walk away from anything that doesn't align with your worth. And that's magnetic. 2. Making him the center of your universe. It might start innocently, you cancel a workout, reschedule plans with a friend, or put off something important to be available for him. At first, it feels like love, it feels like you're showing you care, but over time, this habit sends a subtle but dangerous message, your world revolves around him, and that's when the shift begins. When a man senses that your life has become centered around him, he stops feeling like he needs to earn your time and attention. He starts taking you and your presence for granted, not out of malice, but because he no longer sees the fire that made you captivating in the first place. Men respect women who have full lives, passions, purpose, boundaries, the kind of women who inspire him because they don't just exist for him, they exist for themselves first. Especially for women who've spent years caretaking, raising children, running households, supporting others, it can feel natural to prioritize someone else. But love isn't about losing yourself, it's about bringing your whole, vibrant, independent self into a shared space. Don't abandon your hobbies, your girls' nights, your solo walks, or your passions. These aren't distractions, they're your identity. And when a man sees that he's a part of your life, not the whole story, that's when he leans in with more interest, more respect, and more effort. Keep your world rich, keep your light on, because the right man doesn't want to be your sun, he wants to shine with you. 3. Ignoring red flags to avoid starting over. Let's be honest, starting over can feel exhausting. You've been through enough, you've done the work, survived heartbreak, maybe even divorce. So when you meet someone who seems decent enough, it's tempting to overlook the small signs, the mood swings, the inconsistencies, the passive-aggressive comments, the emotional distance. But here's the harsh reality, red flags don't fade with time, they grow louder. Too many women stay in situations that chip away at their self-worth because the thought of starting over feels harder than staying put. But staying with someone who drains your energy, disrespects your values, or doesn't show up emotionally isn't saving you time, it's costing you your peace. And men? They can feel when a woman is tolerating instead of choosing. They lose respect for women who accept crumbs while hoping for change, not because they're cruel, but because people sense when someone isn't honoring themselves. The strongest, most attractive thing you can do is walk away when your standards aren't being met, not with drama, but with grace, clarity, and the kind of self-respect that says, I'd rather be alone than poorly loved. Starting over might feel scary, but losing yourself piece by piece? That's far more painful. Don't be afraid to let go of something good to make room for something great. You're not too old. You're not too late. And the right man? He'll never be a red flag you need to explain away. 4. Being too emotionally open too soon. You finally meet someone who seems different. You feel that spark. And suddenly, the floodgates open. You share your past, your pain, your dreams, your fears, your whole story by week 1. It feels like connection, like you're building something real. But here's the truth, when emotional intimacy moves too fast, it can actually create disconnection. Why? Because real connection is built over time, with mutual trust and curiosity. When you emotionally lay everything on the table too soon, it can overwhelm a man and rob the relationship of the natural pacing that builds respect, mystery, and depth. Now let's be clear, being emotionally open is a strength. Vulnerability is beautiful, but vulnerability without boundaries isn't connection, it's exposure. And exposure too early can make a man feel like there's no space left to earn his way into your world. Studies from Psychology Today show that men are more likely to value and sustain relationships where emotional intimacy develops gradually. It's not about playing games, it's about pacing the emotional journey so it feels mutual, balanced, and earned. Instead of rushing to connect, allow things to unfold. Share, but don't overshare. Be real, but keep a little mystery. You are not a book to be read in one sitting, you're a story worth exploring, chapter by chapter. The right man will want to take his time reading every page. 5. Staying silent to keep the peace. You feel that knot in your stomach. Something bothered you, maybe it was a comment he made, the way he dismissed your opinion, or how he didn't follow through on something important to you. You want to say something, but instead, you swallow it. You tell yourself, it's not a big deal, or I don't want to seem dramatic, so you stay quiet. Again. This habit might feel like you're being easygoing, but in reality, silence isn't peace, it's self-erasure. Many women, especially those raised in environments where speaking up caused tension or rejection, learn early on to prioritize harmony over honesty. But in a romantic relationship, silence slowly chips away at your identity and a man's respect. When you constantly bite your tongue, you teach him that your boundaries are flexible, your needs are negotiable, and your feelings come second. Over time, he stops checking in, stops listening deeply, and may even assume everything's fine because you're not voicing otherwise. Healthy men don't want a partner who stays quiet to keep the peace, they want a partner who's honest, even when it's uncomfortable. That kind of woman shows she values herself enough to speak up, and that she trusts him enough to handle the truth. So stop worrying about being too much or causing a scene. Say what you feel, ask for what you need. You're not difficult, you're just done being silent. 6. Comparing yourself to younger women. This one hits hard, doesn't it? You catch a glance at a younger woman in the room or worse, in his social media feed, and suddenly that little voice creeps in, is he comparing me to her? Do I still measure up? Here's the thing, society has spent decades selling women the lie that our value peaks at 25 and declines from there, that youth equals desirability and that aging makes you invisible. But that's not truth, that's conditioning, and it's time to break free from it. The moment you start doubting your worth because of your age, you begin showing up differently. You overcompensate, you overgive, you become hyper-aware of flaws that were never flaws to begin with. And guess what? That energy? Men feel it. Men don't respect women who compete with other women. They respect women who own their presence, who radiate confidence, and who carry themselves like experience is a flex, not a flaw. A 2019 eHarmony study found that men over 35 were far more likely to value emotional intelligence, stability, and authenticity over youth or appearance. They're not chasing girls, they're looking for grounded women who know who they are. So stop comparing. Your laughter lines? They're signs you've lived. Your strength? Proof you've survived. And your wisdom? That's what the right man finds magnetic. You don't need to compete with youth. You've got something deeper, presence, power, and purpose. 7. Believing that love means sacrifice. It sounds noble, even romantic, the idea that real love means putting someone else first, giving up your time, your needs, your peace, even your dreams, for the sake of the relationship, for the sake of him. But here's the truth, when sacrifice becomes your default, it's not love anymore, it's self-abandonment. So many women, especially those who've spent years being the emotional backbone of a family or relationship, fall into this trap. You're told that loving someone means giving without question, but over time, That kind of giving can slowly erase you. And men? They may appreciate it at first, but eventually, they stop seeing the woman, they just see what she does for them. Respect fades when it's no longer a partnership, but a performance. True love isn't about one person constantly bending so the other can stay comfortable. It's about both people showing up, giving, receiving, growing, together. If he needs you to sacrifice your happiness, your rest, your values, or your identity just to feel secure, that's not love. That's a dynamic built on imbalance. Real men respect women who are generous and self-protective, who love with open hearts but also with strong boundaries, who say, I will support you, but not at the cost of losing myself. So protect your peace, protect your energy. The right man won't ask you to dim your light, he'll want to stand beside you while you shine.